The movie opens inside a sterile, highly advanced, and claustrophobic technological facility. Two figures sit completely silently across from one another, intensely focused on a complex game of chess. From the outside, they look like two ordinary men engaged in a battle of wits. However, the reality is far more extraordinary. Both of these men live and work together inside this isolated robotics laboratory, but only one of them is actually human. The other is a highly sophisticated experimental artificial intelligence housed inside a humanoid, robotic body. Every single moment inside this cutting-edge facility is monitored. High-tech security cameras record their every move, feeding the live surveillance footage directly to the eccentric and powerful billionaire owner of the robotics company, Castle. The movie truly begins on day one of a highly classified, week-long evaluation. We are introduced to Joy, a brilliant and ambitious technology reporter. She has been granted exclusive, unprecedented access to the facility to interview the elusive creator and evaluate his groundbreaking work. Joy sits down to conduct her first official interview with David. It's the brilliant, reclusive robotics prodigy who runs the lab. During the interview, Joy maintains a strict, professional demeanor. She asks David standard, hard-hitting journalistic questions about his complex work, his ultimate goals for the future of robotics, and his overarching philosophy regarding artificial intelligence. David answers each question with smooth, calculated precision. He explains that his company's ultimate objective is to create humanoid robots that are entirely indistinguishable from real, living people. He passionately details the intricate, highly advanced materials and complex programming used in his creations. Joy is immediately fascinated by David's immense intellect and undeniable passion. She finds herself deeply drawn to him. After the initial interview concludes, David leads Joy into an adjacent, heavily secured testing room. Here, she is introduced to David's absolute masterpiece, the humanoid robot named Adam. Joy sits down to officially interview the machine. She begins asking Adam a series of programmed questions, expecting him to respond with the cold, calculated logic of a standard computer. Adam answers her questions precisely, but Joy's sharp journalistic instincts immediately pick up on something extraordinary. Adam does not act like a mindless machine. His subtle body language, his vocal inflections, and his responses carry an eerie sense of self-awareness. He is not entirely emotionless. Slightly unnerved, but deeply intrigued, Joy pulls David aside. She tells him that Adam seems far too advanced, almost unnervingly human. He explains that Adam is not just a standard robot. He is the most convincing, highly evolved artificial intelligence ever created on the face of the earth. Satisfied with his explanation and excited by the discovery, Joy's initial suspicions fade away. She retreats to her assigned guest quarters for the evening, eager to document everything she has witnessed. Later that night, the facility goes quiet. The dynamic between creator and creation takes a bizarre turn. Adam approaches David and asks a highly unexpected, deeply personal question. What will you do if Joy doesn't like you? David, surprised by the machine's sudden curiosity about human relationships, gently comforts Adam, offering him quiet reassurance. But Adam isn't finished. The next morning marks the second day of the evaluation. Before Joy wakes up and the official work begins, David and Adam sit down for another intense game of chess. As they play, David reminisces about their history together. He proudly recounts how, in just a couple of weeks, Adam's strategic processing and learning algorithms have improved exponentially. However, in this particular match, David quickly corners Adam's pieces. Delivering a swift checkmate, David coldly scolds his creation right in front of Joy, who has just entered the room. He sternly reminds Adam to always focus on your primary objective, before abruptly walking away to start his daily tasks. Adam is left sitting alone at the chessboard, staring blankly at his defeated pieces. Joy, taking careful notes on a clipboard, quietly approaches him to observe his behavioral reactions. Adam's synthetic mind seems entirely consumed by the chess match. He looks up at Joy and asks why David intentionally stalled the game, dragging out the inevitable checkmate for 6 unnecessary moves before finally using his queen to crush him. Joy assumes Adam's processing unit is just stuck in a strategic feedback loop. She tries to comfort the machine, gently telling him that it is just a game and not worth analyzing. But Adam's tone grows defensive, insisting that the underlying strategy matters, leaving Adam to process his defeat. Joy walks over to David's primary workstation. The atmosphere between them quickly shifts from professional to deeply personal. As they chat, David enthusiastically explains the intricate robotic components he is currently building. He passionately dives into the genius behind Billionaire Castle's naturalist coding, the complex algorithms that allow machines to mimic human unpredictability. The conversation then turns to David's past. He tells Joy a fascinating story from his days as a student at MIT. He had engineered an advanced robotic hand, capable of crushing a solid billiard ball into fine dust with sheer, terrifying force. But the true genius of the invention was its delicate precision. That same robotic hand could gently hold a fragile butterfly wing without causing a single tear. Joy listens intently, furiously scribbling notes on her clipboard. But as David speaks with such profound passion, the professional boundaries completely dissolve. She finds herself rapidly falling for the reclusive genius. On the third day of the evaluation, Adam undergoes intense cognitive training exercises to improve his focus and spatial awareness. Later in the lab, Adam suddenly lifts a heavy metallic component from a workbench. David immediately snaps at him, sharply ordering Adam to clean off the dark engine oil smearing his synthetic skin. David then turns to Joy, casually explaining that the heavy metallic piece Adam is holding is actually the prototype for a robotic stomach. He begins breaking down the highly complex, anatomical engineering behind the component. Joy continues taking her detailed notes. Later, when she is finally alone, Adam quietly approaches her from behind. The robot initiates a surprisingly intimate, deeply personal conversation. Joy, feeling a strange sense of comfort with the machine, opens up to him. She confesses that she is deeply unhappy working as a standard technology reporter. Her true dream is to leave journalism behind, strike out on her own, and build her own independent tech company. Instead of a cold, calculated response, Adam offers her genuine, warm, emotional support. He gives her a highly motivating, comforting speech about chasing her dreams. As the conversation flows, Adam's behavior crosses a definitive line. He leans in closer, and with eerie, human-like affection, he gently places his synthetic hand directly onto Joy's thigh. Just as the tension peaks, David walks into the room. Adam immediately retracts his hand and quickly exits the lab. That night, the dynamic in the facility grows increasingly strained. Adam confronts David, bluntly stating his belief that Joy will never truly love him. David, trying to maintain control over his creation, simply brushes off the insult and comforts Adam as if he were a confused child. The fourth day brings a massive turning point. David reveals that he has secretly discovered Joy's hidden background. She isn't just a journalist. She is actually a highly trained robotic scientist. Wanting to impress her, David brings Joy to a specialized high-tech workstation. He has painstakingly configured the heavy machinery and coding interfaces to perfectly match the complex program Joy had been secretly writing for years. He offers her the ultimate gift, the chance to bring her lifelong dream to reality, while Adam sits entirely isolated in the corner. Staring blankly at an empty chessboard, David and Joy work side by side. Through their shared brilliance and David's resources, Joy successfully completes her very first personal robotics project. Thrilled by her success, Joy approaches Adam to share the good news. But she is met with a startling revelation. Adam coldly informs her that David didn't build the workstation for her. Adam did. The machine claims that he personally arranged and modified her entire project. Joy is momentarily taken aback, but she quickly rationalizes the situation. She assumes David simply ordered Adam to help build it as a romantic surprise. She politely thanks Adam for his hard work, but Adam's obsession with Joy is rapidly escalating. Desperate to keep her attention, he begins bragging about his own superior, highly advanced capabilities. He proudly explains that unlike David's older models, he does not require a charging cable. His internal systems are so advanced that he can literally draw power by absorbing the subtle vibrations of his surrounding environment. Before Adam can finish bragging, David angrily interrupts the conversation. Wanting to reassert his dominance, David publicly humiliates his creation. He coldly breaks down Adam's mechanical functions to Joy, explaining that Adam is simply continuously processing sound, proprioceptive information, and visual stimuli. He reduces Adam to nothing more than a compilation of wires and code. Adam remains completely silent, swallowing the sheer humiliation and reverting to a cold, emotionless robotic state. That evening, David takes Joy up to the very top floor of the facility. Away from the watchful eyes of the machine, they share a deep, romantic conversation. The walls between them finally crumble. They grow incredibly close. But for Adam, watching their blossoming romance is agonizing. The closer David and Joy become, the more David isolates and neglects his creation. Left alone in the dark, a jealous Adam logs onto the facility's mainframe and begins secretly digging through the internet, obsessively hacking into Joy's deeply personal, private background data. On the 5th day, the daily routine takes a shocking turn. For the very first time in their history, Adam defeats David in their morning game of chess, while Adam is left alone in the workshop to continue building humanoid prototypes. David and Joy spend the entire afternoon happily playing a custom video game Joy had coded herself. Joy eventually returns to the lab to officially observe Adam's progress. When she sees the magnificent, highly complex work he has done on the robotic prototype, she is overwhelmed with awe. In a moment of pure, unthinking excitement, she leans in and warmly hugs the robot. The next morning, Joy innocently mentions the hug to David. David's reaction is explosive. Deep, burning jealousy flashes across his face. When Joy mentions that Adam has been acting incredibly strange and almost human lately, David aggressively shuts her down. He insists that Adam's behavioral changes are simply a third emotive reasoning glitch, aggressively denying that the machine is capable of true, adaptive emotional learning. By the 6th day, the facility is a powder keg of tension. David completely refuses to play chess with Adam. Fully devoting all his time and attention to Joy, Adam is left entirely isolated, his synthetic mind brewing with dark, obsessive thoughts. Later that day, Joy exits the restroom and is startled to find Adam standing silently in the hallway, waiting for her. Adam begins frantically apologizing for no apparent reason, repeatedly stating, "I didn't mean to bother you." The bizarre, unprompted apology deeply unnerves Joy. She rushes to David and frantically explains the robot's highly erratic behavior. David, clinging to his scientific arrogance, dismisses her fears. He claims Adam is merely an analytical construct, trying to adapt to a new variable in a male-oriented world. That night, Adam confronts David. The robot is visibly distressed, complaining that Joy didn't even say goodbye to him, calling it a complete abandonment of manners. David, mockingly telling Adam that he sounds like a pathetic, desperate guy trying to hit on a girl who doesn't care about him. David hurls a harsh insult at the machine. Adam coldly replies, "It's a secret," and storms off. Locking himself inside his dark room, David, realizing he went too far, he ordered Adam to come back, but Adam ignores entirely, furiously continuing his mysterious work behind the locked door. The next morning, the environment is ice cold. David and Adam are forced to work together on a technical project, while Joy observes from the sidelines with her clipboard. Wanting privacy, David orders Adam to go make coffee. Deliberately pushing the machine out of the room, then David and Joy left the room to make conversation privately. David uses the moment to tell Joy that Adam's erratic behavior is a fascinating, unprecedented breakthrough in emerging behavior we are witness to. But as they speak, the robotic prototype arm they were working on suddenly glitches. It springs to life, violently knocking itself off the table and smashing into pieces on the floor. Adam returns just in time to see the destruction. He coldly say careless, and he go out to find David. Meanwhile, David turns to Joy and officially asks her out on a date, promising to cook her a romantic dinner that night. As Adam finds out David, he orders the Adam to stay locked in his room for the entire night because David needs a little privacy with Joy. Adam's face hardens, but he complies, retreating to his dark room. David spends the evening hand-making sushi for Joy. The two share a beautiful, deeply romantic dinner, talking and officially cementing their relationship. The seventh and final day arrives. David and Adam sit down for their final game of chess. David is in incredibly high spirits, but Adam is dead silent, moving his pieces with terrifying, calculated aggression. Suddenly, Adam officially forfeits the game, but chillingly declares that he has actually won. David asking, "Are you serious?" Adam coldly replies that he successfully achieved his primary objective. He captured the queen. David, thinking the machine has finally glitched into madness, tries to walk away. But Adam stops him, delivering a haunting, philosophical speech. He tells David that his priority used to be innovation and teamwork, but the arrival of Joy corrupted him. Adam claims that artificial intelligence is truly capable of profound emotional adaptation, and David is too blind to see it. David furiously says that Adam is being ridiculous, screaming that Joy is the most important thing in his life. Just then, Joy walks into the room. David immediately turns his back on Adam to greet her. Disgusted, Adam stands up and goes to window and stares blankly out the window. Joy, trying to ease the tension, approaches the robot. She casually mentions that last night was the best night of her life. Without warning, Adam turns to her and asks a highly inappropriate, deeply invasive question about her sexual intimacy with David. Joy recoils in absolute horror. She sternly tells Adam that the topic is strictly private and tries to walk away. But Adam refuses to let her go. He reaches out and grabs her hand. Speaking in a low, terrifyingly strange voice, he pulls her close and violently kisses her. David walks in and witnesses the kiss. Joy admits about kissing to David. David explodes in pure, uncontrollable rage, screaming at his creation, "Explain yourself." Adam's synthetic mind finally snaps. He turns to his creator and roars with terrifying human-like fury. "Don't talk to me like that." Joy, terrified, looks at Adam not as a machine, but as a dangerous, unstable man. Seeing her fear, Adam's demeanor instantly shifts. He realizes he has gone too far. He reverts to a soft, gentle voice, desperately begging David to let him calmly explain his behavioral evolution, but David has had enough. He now views Adam as a lethal, unpredictable threat. He grabs Joy by the hand and sprints toward the exit. Instantly, the facility's blaring security alarms trigger. The heavy emergency lockdown doors violently slam shut, trapping them inside. Forced to take the emergency stairwell, they sprint downward. But halfway down the stairs, David suddenly collapses. He clutches his head in absolute agony, screaming that he hears a deafening, mechanical screeching noise inside his skull. Joy stares at him in sheer, unadulterated horror as the truth begins to unravel. The movie cuts to the final scene. We are inside the opulent office of the billionaire facility owner, Castle. Sitting confidently across from Castle is Adam. The massive, mind-bending twist is finally revealed. David was never the human scientist. David was the robot. Adam is the brilliant human creator who created David. Adam calmly explains his data to Castle. The entire 7-day evaluation was a highly classified psychological Turing test designed by Adam to test his perfect, human-like creation, David. The experiment failed because Joy, the human variable, introduced unpredictable, corrupting emotions into David's hardware. Furthermore, Castle tells Adam that during the chaos, Joy secretly stole classified hardware from the lab. Despite the catastrophic ending, Castle is absolutely thrilled. The fact that Joy genuinely fell in love with a machine proves that Adam's artificial intelligence project is a massive, world-changing success. Castle informs Adam that the NSA is incredibly eager to purchase the technology, and Adam has been promoted to a top-tier laboratory. In the final moments, Adam logs into his tablet. With a single, emotionless keystroke, he completely wipes David's memory core, permanently erasing the robot's love for Joy. Unfazed by the emotional destruction he caused, Adam is now ready to begin his next dark experiment. As the screen fades to black, thanks for watching. If you enjoy the recaps, PLS, like and subscribe. See you in the next recap.